Now, I'm curious to know that you've now come out about
Yeah.
your sexuality. You've told the world you're gay.
Yeah.
Now, is this like another? I mean, is this a new beginning to your career? Are you going to go and use your music to help ease other people's concerns and deal with,
Yeah.
or are you've got it out and you feel better? It's off your shoulders and back to business, or how is this going to change or not change what you do from here on?
That's a great question. And if I had a perfect answer, I'd give it. I wouldn't hold it back from you. But with much consternation, my deciding to come out and to come out the way that I did was not without thought. I knew that, obviously I didn't just Twitter, "Hi, I'm gay." I wanted to detail my story because it is complex, and any person who hides anything has a very multi-layered situation. So in coming out in this way, I knew I would be, in some ways, a voice for the gay in the gay community, but not for the gay community. No one really can speak for an entire community. All I can do is tell my story. But I'm pretty fired up about getting the chance to be involved with organizations like GLSEN and GLAAD and the Trevor Project that are helpful to young people, and again, not so young people, because a lot of folks find themselves at 45 years old still struggling to come out and find a community. My knowing that my coming out would, even if for a year or 5 years, would put an asterisk by my name that would be Shelley Wright, gay country music artist. That's not lost on me. I knew that would be an issue, but honestly, the other option would have easily and likely been an asterisk that said Shelley Wright took her life in 2006. I mean, it's one or the other. My music won't be gay music. My music will be my music. I happen to be gay, but I won't be, I doubt I'll be doing songs that are gay themed. I will be doing songs that are human themed. My music won't exclude straight people or transgender people or bisexual people. My music will still be my music, but for a while, if I'm a poster child, I feel honored to be a poster child for the gay community.
At what point? I mean, you have a revolver in your mouth, and you've reached this end point.
Yeah.
What was it that made you stop? Take the gun out of your mouth and then move forward. What was in your head at that moment?
It was either late at night or early one morning, and on a cold winter morning in Nashville, and I had taken this 9mm gun that I've had for 20 years. My parents gave it to me, oddly enough, which just kills my dad. I had been mugged early in Nashville. I lived in a really cruddy part of town, and I'd been mugged, and my parents got right in the car and drove this weapon to me. And I grew up in a hunter's household. Weapons weren't a scary thing in my household. We all took hunter safety courses, so it wasn't a frightening thing for me to own a weapon. And every time I moved this gun around. I locked it up and kept it in my house, and I just never imagined that I would find myself in that spot, but I did find myself with the gun in my mouth, and I said a prayer I was looking in a mirror, the mirror of a fireplace in my foyer, and I said a prayer to God to forgive me for what I was about to do, because I know that life is a gift, and one shouldn't take one's life or anyone else's life. But I prayed to God to forgive me, and I thought about sunshine on my skin and how that might feel, because I'd been so cold for a long time. And I thought about my pets, Minnie. I thought about my ex-partner, whom I had lost. The hiding had just really ultimately ripped us apart. And I thought about music. And I can't tell you why I took the gun out of my mouth that night, but I remember looking in the mirror and being shocked that I wasn't crying. And I detail this in the book as well. I remembered being a little bit stunned. I thought, don't people cry when they kill themselves? Like, isn't that weird that I wasn't? And I felt like I was outside of my body. And at some point, a few seconds, maybe 20 seconds, maybe 5 seconds after having the gun in my mouth, I heard something. And it wasn't the pop of the gun. It was my heart beating in my head. It was my heart beating bang, bang, bang. And all of a sudden I looked at myself in the mirror and I began to cry. Not just cry, but cry. To the point of where I became blurry in that mirror. I was back in touch with my emotions, and I felt like I was back in my body. I took the gun out of my mouth, put it on the mantle, went back up to the 3rd floor of my house, and I got in bed. The next morning when I got up, I was afraid to go back downstairs because I was afraid that I might do it. So I got on my knees, and I changed the prayer that I'd been praying my whole life, my whole career, which was, God, help me find a way to navigate through my career and keep my success and keep my secret. Help me find ways to make it through all this secret life. And my prayer on that day changed. And what I prayed for was, dear God, please give me a moment's peace. I knew at that point that I had to submit. And I said, God, I've been doing it my way 36 years. Let's do it yours. And I think that complete submission and realizing that I don't care if I have my career anymore, that's what changed.
Well, I hope you threw the gun away.
I didn't, but I knew at that moment I was okay. I certainly don't think that I spoke with somebody the other day that said they know that their child is struggling and suicidal. And I asked them, do you have weapons in the house? They said yes. I said, does your child know how to find those weapons? And they said yes. And I said, get the guns out of your house. Mm-hmm. Don't give a child an opportunity to be in the spot I was in. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. On that night, I didn't pull the trigger because I hadn't gotten on my knees that night. But by the grace of God, I'm here, and I'm happy and proud to tell my story. But that was as bad as it gets.
Mm-hmm. And I think you need to know, if you don't by now, that you're loved unconditionally by millions of people around the world.
Thank you, Larry.
And that's very important for you to understand that.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Shelley Wright is our guest. The book is Like Me. Her new CD is called Lifted Off the Ground, and we are so happy to have her in our studios today. Definitely, we're glad you're with us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back. And I remember sitting down with you 5 years ago. It was 5 years ago, and just remembering the compassion with which you held our discussion, and I want to thank you again for this.
Well, you're welcome to come back anytime you want. Anytime that you're in this area, the doors are always open for you. We'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
Because you're a great person.
Thank you.
All the way around, through and through. And I mean that sincerely. Website, can you give our audience around the world the website so they can go and get the book, get the CD?
Yes, my website is Shelley.com. That's CHELY.com. Boy, I sounded Southern when I said that. CHELY. Y'all go to Shelley.com. And I'm also on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. And the book is called Like Me, and the record is called Lifted Off the Ground. And again, I couldn't be, I couldn't be more proud. And at the root of what I do, though, is music. And I know the record has been a little eclipsed by my story, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that because I'm going to be around for a long, long, long time.
That's great. I'm glad to hear you say that. The book is obviously therapeutic for you, and it was something you probably felt good telling the story, getting it was hard to write.
Yeah.
But now that you've told it, and now that it's out,
yeah,
you probably feel, I'm guessing, I'm not you, so I can't speak for you, but like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders.
The getting here was hard, but the being here is just magical. Mm-hmm. And there are millions of people around the world who are hiding, and some in cultures where it's illegal to be gay, if you can imagine that.
Yep.
And for those of you who are out there in those corners of the world listening right now, I hope you'll find a way to get my book and read it and know that you are one fewer person alone. And I can tell you, the thousands of people who have shown up at book signings and record signings, there are a lot of people who support you and are cheering you on. And just know you're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you.